In today's video, we're actually going to take a look at one of the intraday trade setups that we had in the S&P futures today, and it was in the update in advance last night. So as long as you knew where the levels were or you came into the trading room, you had access to this information. Now here, this is a sloppy chart. This is the 120-minute chart of S&P futures, and it includes the overnight garbage, okay? But one of the things that we did see yesterday was that, even though we had some support that held here, which would typically point us to an upside target here, we had to watch what was in the way on the way up. And I saw something here. I saw the fact that we had a 618 retracement of the high to the low. I came in at the 2690.75 area. I saw that there was a 1272 extension of the prior high to low swing. Okay, it was kind of like a sloppy two-step here. 2691 is where that came in. And then I also ran 100% of the first swing up, and if you measure that, this is what it looks like. We've got this low to this high. That was 7 1/4 points. This low to this high, 7 1/2 points. So within a tick of, perfect symmetry. So you had a triple cluster in a zigzag or two-step pattern into resistance. I gave you that zone to look for sell triggers against, and you did see sell triggers. It did not make the ultimate target, but it was worth cash. So let me remind you that we use triggers with these zones to tell us whether or not it's worth placing a bet. So when we tested that area of resistance, okay, we actually had two tests of it. We had one here, where it got the slightly lower end of the resistance, and we did end up having a sell trigger there, but then it did come back. It did not take out the resistance, but then there was another trigger, sell trigger, against the the retest of that area up to the 2691 zone. And here's the other trigger when it had the moving average crossover to the downside, the 834 EMA crossed, and you also took out a prior swing low in the process. You had reason to be short in S&P, and then you had reason to get the heck out when it flipped the other way over here, when you had the 8 cross back above the 34, and you also took out a prior swing high. So again, I didn't expect you to get the exact high and the exact low, but if you can kind of catch some of this in the middle, then typically, that's a nice little day trade for you. So that's what I try and do in the main room. At least, we look at the NASDAQ and the S&P in there, and then the rest of the stuff is typically on the stocks. All right. So I hope that helps, make some sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.